Divide 18 by 3.
So that's what you would do. We would figure out what R is first. Divide 18 by 3. So what does that mean? What does R equal?
6.
So notice how 6 is there, and some students might pick that answer, feel like, oh, I'm doing good, I got the right answer, but you didn't. Because now what they want you to do is figure out what is the value of 6R plus 3. So take the answer that you got and substitute it into the expression 6R plus 3. So that would be 6 times 6 plus 3. And 6 times 6 plus 3 would be 39. Any questions about how we reason through that? All right, so let's go ahead and go to page 2 in your note packet. And page 2 in the note packet has what we call the end behavior chart, where it talks about what does your graph do on the ends. Okay, so we're in the purple packet and we're talking about end behavior. When we're trying to talk about end behavior, there are two things that we need to focus on. The first thing we need to focus on is the leading coefficient positive or negative, okay? If your leading coefficient is positive. But first of all, let's talk about what is the leading coefficient. The leading coefficient, definition of leading coefficient, that's the number in front of the highest exponent. So if you have a lot of different terms, you're only focusing on the highest exponent. The number in front of the highest exponent is your leading coefficient. And that's really, really, really important, because the leading coefficient will control the right arrow. When we talk about a graph has two arrows. It has an arrow on the left side of the y-axis. It has an arrow on the right side of the y-axis. And the leading coefficient will control the right arrow. So when we look here, notice how it says in all of these functions, when we look at this chart, I'm going to highlight where it says leading coefficient is positive. Because it's positive, that controls what the graph will do on the right. So this is the right and this is the left. Let's go ahead and write that. Right, left. Right, left. Right, left. Maybe if you sit up, Thomas, you won't go to sleep. Okay. Just throwing it out there. What you want to do? Okay, so here, do you see how this first one, it says the leading coefficient is positive? Do you notice that on the right side, the arrow is going to go up? The reason why it's going up is because the leading coefficient is positive, okay? But if the leading coefficient is negative, see how these two are negative? Notice that what does the arrow do on the right side? Does it go up or does it go down on the right? Goes down. So here, notice how it goes down. It goes down. So the degree, now let's talk about the degree. The degree is your highest exponent. Whenever it is even, that means that the left side will do the same. But if it's odd, the left is opposite. And that's how we're going to look through, or how we're going to, and that's all we're talking about today is in behavior. What does your graph do on the end? Okay. Anybody need more time to copy that down? So what we're talking about, so we have our odds. So let's look at these 4 options again. So here we have it's even. So you see how these 2 are even? And notice that the left side did the same thing. The left side went up, or the left side went down. They matched. It's the same when it's even. See, either both sides are going to go up, up, or both sides are going to go down, down. But if it's odd, it's opposite. Odd, opposite. So it would go, if the one side goes up, the other side does the opposite. They don't do the same. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of practice with these. Just finding your end behavior. And that's it. So let's go ahead and look at this first one. The first thing we're going to do is figure out what is our leading coefficient and our degree. Remember, the degree is your highest exponent. So I'm going to go ahead and circle your exponents. All these numbers that you see circled, those are your degrees. That's your degree. So go ahead and fill those in for your degree. So the first one has a degree of 5. And what's the degree of number 2? 4. What's your degree for number 3? 13. Your degree for number 4? 24. The leading coefficient is the number in front. So let me go ahead and highlight our leading coefficients. So our leading coefficient would be this number here, this number, and this number. So our leading coefficient for number 1 is a positive 8. Our leading coefficient for number 2 is a negative 3. For number 3 is negative 1, and number 4 is 17. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put that together here. So let's look at question example 1. We just got example 1, 2, and 3, and then you'll have time to work on your homework. So looking at this term, what do you think my leading coefficient would be? Negative 2. Does everyone see how we start off with a negative 2? That's my leading coefficient. The degree is your highest exponent, which in this case is 3. So because my leading coefficient is negative and it's 3, is that an odd number or an even number? Odd. All right, so let's go ahead and do let's make a little sketch. So we got the left side and we got the right side. Can you write that right above this side? This is talking about the right, and this is talking about the left. Wait, you probably can't see that. Let me zoom in. So you all, I can't really, or maybe if I go down, I can bring it up so everybody can see it in the back. Okay. Okay, so whenever you're thinking about in behavior, we're gonna start with the right side, okay? On the right side, because this is negative, that means the right side is going to go down. It goes down on the right. And if it goes down on the right, that means it's approaching negative infinity. So put a negative infinity right there. The left side is either going to do the same thing or it's going to do the opposite. And that depends on your degree. If this is an odd number, it does the opposite on the left. If this number is even, it does the same on the left. So what do you think it's going to do on the left? Is it going to go up or down? So if this side goes down on the left, the right side is going to do the opposite. So what's the opposite of going down? Up. So it goes up, which means it's a positive infinity. And that's how you're going to reason through it. You're just going to first figure out if it's a positive or negative, and the left side is going to do the same or the opposite. All right, let's look at question B. The leading coefficient is 4. My degree is 6. 4 is a positive number, and 6 is even. Good. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Exactly. So here, because this is positive, that means that the right side is going to go up. Because it's positive. That positive leading coefficient tells the right side what to do. Now the left side is either going to do the same or the opposite. And that depends on if this is even or odd. Because it's even, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to go up. So because both sides go up, that means both sides are approaching positive infinity. All right, let's look at letter C, and then we'll do a matching. So let's look at letter C. Our leading coefficient is 7. My degree is 27. So my leading coefficient is positive, and is my degree even or odd? Odd. So I'm going to make my little sketch here. So because this side is positive, which side is going to go up? The left or right? The right. This side controls the right. So on the right side, because this is positive, it's going to go up. Let me go ahead and pull this up so everybody can see it. So the right side goes up. So right side goes up, so I'm going to put a plus infinity right here because that's what it does on the right. Now the left side is either going to do the same or the opposite. Who thinks it's going to do the same? Raise your hand if you think it's the same. Who thinks it's the opposite? It's the opposite. And what's the opposite of going up? Going down. So the left side is going to go down, which means the left side approaches negative infinity. And that's how you have to think through it in the homework. Okay, so I'm actually going to skip to the bottom of page 5. And I want us to do some matching. Okay, so we have A, B, C, D. And I want you to go ahead. Let's label this number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. We're going to match these letters to the graphs. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is look at the end. I think that's probably the easiest way to approach it. I know that this one here, which is A, that both ends are going, they're both going towards positive infinity, which means both arrows go up. Which graph has both arrows going up? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Show me with your fingers. Which one has both arrows going up? 4, good. So that means that A, that's gonna match with that graph. That this in behavior matches to this graph. All right, so now for B, B is telling me that the left side, because this is the left and this is the right, I'm looking for a graph that on the left side goes down and on the right side goes up. Do you notice how these are opposite? They're not doing the same. So it's not an even. I know it's an odd function because one has a negative and one has a positive. Show me with your fingers which graph goes down on the left and up on the right. Question 3, good. So we're gonna say that this is B. All right, now let's look at C. For question C, on the left side, notice how it says it approaches positive infinity. So that means the left side goes up. The right side goes down. And I know this is odd because it's opposite. Which one is opposite? Show me with your fingers. 1, 2. 1 or 2? 1. Good. And then we know, because of process of elimination, that this last one has to be D. But we also know that this is the one where both sides are going down, and that is D. Okay, so let's talk about our homework for a second. First of all, in your homework 1, can you write that it is due on Tuesday, September 18th? So homework 1 that everybody just picked up, can you write the due date? It's Tuesday, September 18th. Is September 18th a Wednesday? Oh, okay. Happy birthday. So wait, what's today? You right, it is a Wednesday. So we'll just say Wednesday. Let's make that Wednesday then. Thank you. Wednesday, September 18th. So can everybody write that on your homework? That's when your first homework is due. All right, so now let's talk about the first homework just a little bit. Oh wait, this is not your first homework. Sorry, never mind. I can't do that. So what I